Gary, thanks for joining us again. What a fickle game football is, isn't it? We had the disappointment on Tuesday night at Leyton Orient, and then you move on to a performance like that. What do you put it down to?
Well, let's firstly say that the players and I, the management team, we were as disappointed as anybody else. That on the day, let's be honest, we never turned up. We never got our game going in any shape or form, and sometimes you can put that down to the opposition. The game was a bitty game as well, but mainly you have to look at yourselves and say, well, hold on a minute, did we do enough to go and win that game and to look like the team that we should have looked like on the day? No, we didn't, and so we had a few days to get our act together, really, to say, look, whatever happens at Sheffield United, we got to go there and produce our game, and if our game's not good enough, then we hold our hands up. All season we've been talking about the Sheffield United game away, because that's generally what most teams in our league feel is your toughest game. And I just said, I've got enough faith in you fellas to go up there, play our game, and let's see how our game can affect them, and not worry about their game. We'll worry about ours. Get our act together. We felt we had enough legs on the pitch at Sheffield United. It was a different team at Sheffield United than it was at Leyton Orient. We was a lot busier at Sheffield United, and certainly we shut down for a lot longer, and that earned us the accolade of the Sheffield Wednesday manager. God bless him, Danny, who admitted that we were the better team on the day and we shut down for 90 minutes. But it was the type of game that makes people want to support your team. They can see there was that 100% effort from every single person. There was, if you can get more than 100% effort, then it's not possible, because 100% is 100%. But we did go beyond that call of duty, and everybody just was totally in the zone. And you do get that sometimes. At least we've seen that we've got that display that we had at Sheffield in us. We're probably not going to get relegated. That's a fair bet. And I think we should start as a club now thinking that actually we've put ourselves in a pretty strong position in the league with the 4 wins out of 5. We've got some massive home games coming up. The Preston game, Milton Keynes. We've got Brentford coming up. We've got some massive games, and they're the games to show our club, because there shouldn't be any fear now. We're out of the cups. We're not in any more cups. We're a point away from the playoff zone. We mustn't show any fear. That's from the boardroom to us management, the players, and the supporters. There's only a few games to come, so if they haven't already got their season ticket, come and be part of something that might be. It might not be, but I'm telling you, I'm giving me all. I'm going to try and make sure that the players give their all. So don't miss it. I don't want people to miss it, if you know what I mean. It'd be lovely for people to see how we played at Sheffield United. Obviously the 200 or 300 that were there saw that. But we're on the verge of something now, and I don't know which way we're going to go, because we've still got a relatively inexperienced squad. However, they've shown us that they have got it in them to do well in this league, and our next 2 or 3 home games are going to be massive, so that we can go into the last 5 or 6 home games in a playoff position. That's what we got to do. So we need everyone. You can't make people come and watch football. They've got to, they're paying, so you've got to entertain them. You've got to make sure they've got a good product. I'm trying to do that, and but I'd love them. I'd hate for anyone to miss our next few games, because I think they're going to be pretty spectacular.
Throughout the season, there's been talk of, whenever we play these so-called big teams, which obviously you'd include Sheffield United as being one of them, with huge budgets compared to ours, that we can never make that final step, cross that barrier to beat them. You've done it now. You've been up there to Sheffield United, who are, as you said, favourites for the league. What do you put it down to? What was the difference on Saturday?
I don't think it's just a one-off thing, Dave. I I think we've had some good games at Portsmouth, which was always going to be a difficult game. We went to Walsall. You know, we didn't know they were going to be in the middle of a 5 wins out of 6.
Yeah.
You know, but it was our belief going to Sheffield, and you know, I did show them a video of our Bristol City promotion, not because it was come and have a look at what I've done, because I've done it a few times, so I don't need to be saying that. But I just wanted our players that haven't had that feeling yet of the camaraderie and the team spirit that's needed throughout the season, because it wasn't all great all season. We had 3 go to prison, 1 had community service, and then we had 1 we had to sell, our best player. So they saw the story, but as it came later in the season, the lads started to believe in themselves. More importantly, believe that they could do it because they believed in their teammates as well. So all of a sudden you get a group of players that believe in themselves and go, well, let's go and play. Let's go and enjoy doing what we do, but let's do it with 100% commitment. And that's what they did at Sheffield, which they didn't do at Leyton Orient for whatever reason. It's human nature. But we've done it more times than not recently.
But do you think it's a psychological thing, and now that we've kind of broken the mould, that you can carry on and beat some more big teams as well?
You know, all I can do is keep drip feeding them with information. And the information after the Sheffield United game, having them watch their own review, is that there's no reason why we can't be in the playoffs. There is no reason whatsoever. It will just be down to them, us, the club, for not doing it, for not giving it that go. There's no reason, because we've shown that they're good enough. You know, you've got a management team that's been there at the promotions themselves. You've got a support that knows what it's like to get into those areas. You know, again, these boys have also seen our conference winning year, and so they've seen the crowds that came and the crowds that sang their hearts out, the crowds that, you know, just gave their all, and the boys have seen that, and they're looking forward to seeing that again. And we said, what comes first, chicken and an egg, whatever it is, let's make sure we're giving our best. And it just sort of all come together suddenly at Sheffield United. And but then the teams, the group that we took there, that team that we started seemed to gel straight away, and it had that energy and work rate. And then with no less ability, once the ability came out as well, then we demoralised what I thought was a demoralisation of a very big club. Would they have 12,000 people out of 20 in the last 15 minutes still in the stadium? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But did you? I mean, watching from, you know, I was taking my pictures at the side, but the thing that struck me was the first 5-10 minutes we really went at them, and it was almost as though they must have thought, "Hello, what's going on here?"
Yeah, we did. I think we were clever. You know, we certainly changed the team from what they would have seen against Leyton Orient. They know we're an organised team, so they know teams have to break us down. But we was in the zone at Sheffield United, and sometimes young players don't know what their 100% is. They've never been there. And I think the Bristol City tape showed them how players get to their 100% in that determination to get in the playoffs, or to win the league, or to better yourselves, better the club that you're at and yourself to the next level. And then everybody gets that feeling. I'm not sure we're not far away from it at the minute. You know, it will take probably one more big game, one more big performance, and, you know, hopefully we get our old supporters back that had that so much fun previously. You know, so. I keep saying I just want to see this place buzzing again, and you know, I've seen the old videos when I was here before, and the atmosphere and everything, and we got to get back to that. We got to forget any old gripes that we all had, you know, people had, and that, and you know, at the end of the day, we're all fighting for Yeovil Town Football Club, and I just say that we're on the verge of something, and it'd be great if we can get a lot of people involved in it.
Well, now we got 3 home games, I think, on the trot now. A weekend off in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Presumably, whilst I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that you'd be slacking, but it won't be quite so intense having to build them up, having achieved that sort of, I would say holy grail, but I mean, you've gone out and done it. So have you got to work quite so hard to convince them?
Well, all games are different anyway. You know, you can't never perform exactly the same. But what we can have is the same mentality and that same mental toughness that we had up at Sheffield. Excuse me, let me just turn that off. Do you want to know what it is? Customers? Oh, it's an agent.
Oh, right.
Can't tell you of who though. I'm ever so sorry. Not just.
Do you want to take it?
No, I don't want to take it. No. Okay. But it's still an important agent, an important player that we'd like to get here. But
well, talking of agents, we're right in the middle of the transfer window. You've made reference to trying to sign a couple of players. How further up the road are you?
Well, do you know what? I also find out whether players really want to be here when it comes down to us making full-term signings.
Yeah.
I can tell you now that I didn't feel Corey Smith was up for it enough. I think he was sort of looking at other places. You know, it just wasn't, which is fair enough. I understand that. And then we got one or two that absolutely want to be here, and they're the ones I'm trying hard to bring in. We brought in a couple. You know, they sort of slide under the radar. Matty Dolan, who had a fantastic game up at Sheffield. Kevin Dawson, who was magnificent up at Sheffield. I've still got faith in most of the boys that we got here, but it just means we just have to work out whether we can build on it, if you like, so that when your best striker or your best centre half or your best midfielder is injured, you can replace him with somebody as good. It's not always the case, but when we've got our best team out there, we know we've got a top team. We just need a top squad now, if we can.
But you say that we're in the zone. If you could only bottle the zone and pass it around, I mean, where does Paddy Madden get the ability to run like that non-stop?
Well, Paddy, to be honest, he does that naturally every game.
Yeah.
When he's not in the team, you sort of recognise that he's not in the team because you don't have that running power and that athleticism to run that strong and that long. For 90 minutes he's shutting that goalkeeper down after 70 odd 80 minutes, whatever it was, and that drags other people. So we scored that goal because Paddy Madden shut a no hope type ball, he shut it down, and when the goalkeeper thought he could get out to the left back, his mate Kevin Dawson ended up shutting that down, so the goalkeeper ended up changing his mind, and that gave Paddy the opportunity to. So chasing lost causes, you got to have a real, and I keep saying it, a mental fitness and a physical fitness to do what we did on Saturday as a team, and that just came through. Now, quite rightly, as you say, if you bottled it, I've said that to him. Wrap that up, whatever zone you was in or how you was in. It's still human nature, and make sure that comes out this week. And every week for the rest of the season, because then you'll all improve your lot, whether it's Yeovil in the Championship, whether they move on to a Championship club, whatever happens, they owe it to their families to be their very, very best every week.
Do you think there's a tendency for a slight nervous sort of reaction when they're at home rather than away?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because if you count, and I'm sure you haven't, because your maths ain't that clever, but if you count, I think that there's been more away wins in this league this year, only just, than home wins.
Really?
So that sort of gives you a little bit more power to what you've just said there. Now, we mustn't think that way, because we've got to make our home support into a real positive for us, because we've got 3 home games now coming up, and we've got some very important home games, so we've got to make that a positive. And we had it for a little while with Fortress Hewish, like last year as well. When I first came back, we tried to get that. We got beat by a couple of teams that came here and sat back and beat us 1-0. Even Sheffield United only beat us 1-0. Poor game, Hartlepool. So we haven't done too bad, but they're going to be vital for us. But I think there is something that people do tend to. The onus is not on them when they're away from home. That's what we did at Sheffield Wednesday. We took the onus. Sheffield United. I've said that a few times. Sorry about that. It's Sheffield, isn't it? Yeah. United Wednesday. Anyway, going to Sheffield United, we took the onus away. and we went, well, we're going to play our game, see how you handle that. And I think that's, you know, obviously what teams have to do when they're at home.
But looking at the final, you know, the run in, if you like, right from now to the end of the season, this next month seems to be kind of the time. If we're going to do it, if we can get some good results this month in particular, I mean, you can never count on any team being particularly easy to knock over in this league, as we all know. But it just seems that if you know, you've got Brentford, they're in the top 6. MK Dons are in the top 6. Scunthorpe, whenever they've improved of late. If you could get all results again, and you've got Doncaster away, I think fairly close on them. Is it end of
well, we've got
the month?
More coming up soon.
Yeah. So you know, but it just means if you could just get those results knocked off, you could then go into the last 2 months in a really strong position.
Yeah, and that would be great if we could say those words to players. And then go, oh yes, we win them 5, and then just turn up and win them. That won't happen.
No.
So what you have to do is really knuckle it down to each game, the next game, and then we have to adjust depending on whether they were poor, whether they were good, you know. And we have to be fair, we've just about won more than what we've lost, so we do tend to recover quite well. But we're on a decent little run now, and this is the run we said we needed to be on. And by being a point outside the playoffs, it's got to mean so much more to everybody. It's got to. This is the stage of the season. It's like the second half of a film when it starts getting interesting. You've had all the introductions, you know all the characters, and we've got some characters coming to the fore at the moment, and people have started thinking about, hey, I'll have his picture on me wall, I'll have his picture behind the toilet door, do you know what I mean? All them sort of things. So that people have started just recognising heroes again, do you know what I mean? And ready-made heroes. Will they become those heroes a bit later on? So I think now's that time. We've done the early bits. We're not in any sort of trouble, which is what we didn't want to be in. So that now you can push forward a little bit and start thinking that, you know, go and get at teams, go and play your game, and don't worry about them. Let them worry about you.
Finally then, Gary, just you sort of skated over it slightly. Is there any likelihood of any movement in the transfer window?
Well, you know, we're still working to a budget, of course. You know, all managers are the same. You win a game and you don't think you need anyone, and then all of a sudden you lose a game and you need 12. Do you know what I mean? So, but I have got faith in this group of players. I do feel we need to add 2 or 3 players. That changes every day because then players don't always want to come to you, not you, but the club and the area. And sometimes the ones that do want to come to you, desperate to come to you, are being kept back by their other club for the time being. So, you know, it's not an easy one, but as I say, the new ones that have popped into our team up at Sheffield United have done really, really well. So we've sort of gained there below the radar without having to spend £1 million on somebody that's a famous name. Do you know what I mean? We've done some good business, and if we can keep doing that, then that's the nature of our club. But as I say, I keep talking with the board, and I'll keep pushing. I'll keep, you know, as people come available, I'll keep asking, and we see if we can't get a slightly bigger squad to compete for the second part of the season.
Well, thanks for being so frank with us, Gary.
No problem. Thank you.